With more is Kris Kobach. He's Kansas Secretary of State. He also consulted the Trump campaign on immigration policy. And obviously, Kris, I know that you're running for governor as well. So this is a timely issue. And I wonder, when you're on the ground talking to people in Kansas, I know that illegal immigration is something on the minds of people, but is this legal immigration issue something that you hear about as well?
Yeah, you do indirectly, because the two biggest concerns I hear when talking to people who are dealing with some of the problems of both legal and illegal immigration are the burden on the American taxpayer and the burden on the American worker. And so this RAISE Act, which deals principally with legal immigration, addresses both. One of the most amazing statistics, Dana, is that 51% of alien-headed households, legal or illegal, mixed together, 51% are consuming at least one federal means-tested welfare program versus 30% of households headed by native-born U.S. citizens. And so what we're essentially doing under our current system is we're bringing in a large number of poor people who are unskilled, and they're coming into our welfare state, and the American taxpayer is immediately supporting them. And so this RAISE Act and President Trump's proposal here is to take the burden off the taxpayer and also take some of that competitive burden off of the American workers who are trying to get these lower-end jobs, these blue-collar jobs, and have them compete on equal terms in order to get those jobs and not see wages depressed, too. As you know,
yeah.
Dana, wages have been stagnant for almost 3 decades in America.
Right, and and obviously there's studies that support the position that the president and the senators laid out today and that you might defend. And then there's studies from other places saying that there actually is a great benefit to legal immigration, and that when you have that coming forward, that it helps. I understand the merit-based system. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. And especially I wanted to ask you about the piece about what Ed Henry was speaking about when he was talking about the reporters and the exchange about English. Is assimilation part of the plan as well, which is that we want to have immigrants coming to the country legally, participating, and able to participate, and English is a part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So people can learn English once they get here, but if a person already has some English skills, he or she is probably going to be able to make a better economic impact sooner in America. So the bottom line in this bill is it wants to have a points system, which we've never had before, which says, okay, if we have all of these hundreds of thousands of people wanting to come here legally in any given year, let's pick the ones that do the best for themselves and for the United States. So we give credit to people who have educational attainments. We give credit to people who have a history of entrepreneurship in their home country.
Right.
We give credit to people who have some other outstanding accomplishments. Let's let the best and brightest come to the front of the line. Sure, you can still, if you have a minor child in your home country, or if you have a spouse, of course, those family connections will allow you to bring in that person. But let's think about the American economy first and not be importing so many people who go straight to welfare.
Well, and I guess I would love to see more reporting on the straight to welfare, because I do think that you'll see businesses, as Ed Henry was saying, you could see the Chamber of Commerce being one of the groups that pushes back against this. But let me ask you this, because Republicans have long disparaged things like the $15 minimum wage or something like card check, because it was government intrusion on the market. How is this different to that?
Well, think of it this way. The labor market for foreign workers is by definition controlled by the government. Every government on the planet controls how many foreign nationals are allowed to come into its job market. So it's not really government interference. A country, in order to have borders, meaningful borders, and be a sovereign nation, every country has to have some control over how many people come in and have access to which jobs. So I wouldn't think of this as a increased government involvement. We're already there. The government of the United States has been defining who can come in and who can't for more than a century now. So really what we're talking about is tweaking it a little bit so that the interests of the American worker and the American taxpayer are first. Because just to give you looking back at that welfare consumption, the average immigrant household consumes more than $6,200 a year in federal welfare benefits. That's not even counting the state welfare benefits they consume. Let's try to bring in more people who are not going to consume welfare benefits, who are going to be job creators, who are going to be entrepreneurs. The point is, let's think of the American people first when we decide who gets to come in.
All right, Kris Kobach, thanks so much. Appreciate you being here tonight.